Hey guys. Okay, last section of notes. So 6.6 proportionality theorems. So we have 4 new theorems we're going to talk about here. The first is triangle proportionality. So if a line is parallel to one side of a triangle, intersects the other two sides. So TU is parallel to QS, and I know that because of the markings on them. And it intersects both sides of this triangle. Then it divides the two sides proportionally. What that means is I'm going to label this little section A, this little section B, this little section C, and this little section D. What they're trying to say here is that if these two lines are parallel, then A over B is equal to D over C. Another way to write that would be A over D, this over this, equals B over C, this over this. So this over this equals this over this. There's multiple ways we can write proportions, guys. To make sure that your way works, though, your diagonal letters or numbers should be the same. So like here, I'm multiplying D and B diagonally. I'm still multiplying D and B diagonally there, just like A and C, just like A and C. Okay? Now the converse of that, remember, converse means to like flip it. So now they're saying, well, if I tell you that these are in proportion, but it divides the the triangle proportionally. So if I know that A over D does equal B over C, then that tells me that these two lines are parallel. Okay? If 3 parallel lines, so theorem 6.6, if 3 parallel lines intersect 2 transversals, then they divide the transversals proportionally. Okay, so essentially the same thing here. We just have 3 lines instead of 2. We still have pieces that are proportional, so I can set up those proportions. The last one is if a ray bisects an angle. So this ray CD is bisecting this big angle C into 2 equal parts. That means that it's splitting into segments that are proportional. So I'm going to label these sections 1, 2, 3, and 4. What that means is that 1 over 2 would be proportional or equal to 3 over 4. This piece over this piece would equal this piece over this piece. Another way to write that would be 1 over 3 equals 2 over 4, and there's other multiple ways to write that. All right, we will try some of these. Okay. Number 1, G to C, so this piece over C to F, this piece, would have to equal what over this piece? Would equal this piece. So this over this equals this over this. So that would be G to D. Next one, A to F. So this piece over F to C, this piece, is equal what to this piece? So this over this equals this over this. So that would be E to B. All right, next one. C to D. Okay, so now this is a little different. Before we were talking about sides, but now if I take this triangle out, I have a small triangle here at the top. I have a medium triangle here. So this is CDG. This is GFB. And then I also have like the biggest of the triangles, the one that goes right here. G, A, and E. Okay, so really I have 3 triangles there. Before, I was just talking about the sides, but now we're going to be talking about the bases of the triangles. When we're talking about the base of the triangle, it changes it up a little bit. So they're saying C to D, this guy right here, C to D, which is the base of a triangle, over F to B, this base. So the base of a triangle over a base of a triangle, right? That equals G to D, this side, or this side, over what? Well, base over base equals side over side. So you got to be careful. The side of that medium triangle is G to B. So it's not D to B, because that's not the whole side of that medium triangle. It's G to B, that entire side of that medium triangle. So G to B. Next one, A to E. So now we're talking about the base of the big triangle. A to E over C to D. So base of the big over base of the small equals G to E, side of the big over, so if you say it out loud, it may make more sense. Base of the big over base of the small equals side of the big over side of the small. So side of the small would be this G to D. It has to be the same side as the G to E that we're talking about, so it'd be G to D on the bottom. And then, all right, F to G. F to G is side of the medium over A to G, side of the big. Side of the medium over side of the big equals base of the medium over what? So side of the medium over side of the big equals base of the medium over base of the big. So that would be A to E. Last one in this section, G to E, so side of the little over G to E over side of the big. Side of the little over side of the big equals something over base of the big. Side of little over side of big equals something over base of big. So that'd be base of small, which is C to D. Next, find the length of AB. So this one goes back up to theorem 6.4. Parallel, parallel, so piece over piece equals piece over piece. So I'm going to label that X. So I can do 12 over 6, this over this equals X over 5. Cross multiply, I get 60 equals 6X. Divide by 6, I get X equals 10. They want the length of A to B, which is 10 in this case. All right, same idea here. I'm going to put X here. Parallel, parallel, so piece over piece equals piece over piece. I could also do piece over piece equals piece over piece. Either one works. So 18 over X equals 24 over 20. So that is cross multiply, 24X equals 360. Divide by 24 on both sides. So I get 360 divided by 24, which is 15. X equals 15. All right, next page. Get this straightened out. Okay. Use the given information to determine whether they're parallel. Well, if they're parallel, remember, if this guy's parallel to this guy, then this ratio has to equal this ratio, so they are in a proportion. So 6 over 5 would have to equal 9 over 7.5. Two ways to solve this. You cross multiply and see if it's the same answer, or you turn them into decimals and see if they're the same answer. So I'm going to cross multiply. 9 times 5 is 45. So 6 times 7.5 is also 45. So this would be yes. Same thing here. I'm going to do 5 over 3 should equal 9 over 11. Cross multiply. 9 times 3 is 27. That it should equal 5 times 11, which is 55. That would be no. All right. Determine the length of each segment. So G to F. So G to F is a piece. So on this one I can do piece over piece equals piece over piece. So I could do 6 over X equals 4 over 6. And cross multiply and I get 4X equals 36. So X equals 9. Put that in there. F to C is a base. So I'm going to do side over base equals side over base. I'm going to label that Y. So 4 over 5, that's this side over this base, should equal side, which is 10, over Y. Cross multiply and I get 4Y equals 50. Divide by 4, divide by 4, Y equals 12.5, but I want to make sure. Yep, 12.5. All right. Next problem. E to D is also a base. So we can do side over base again equals side over base. So side over base of the small triangle equals side of the big. So that'd be 4 plus 6 plus 4, which is 14 over Z. We'll call that Z base. Cross multiply, and that is 70 equals 4Z. Divide by 4, divide by 4. 17.5. So Z equals 17.5. Okay, and then the last one is F to E. We'll call that A. Do that in a different color. I lost my pink pen today, guys. That's not good. Okay. So that's a piece. So we can do piece over piece equals piece over piece. So 9 over A equals 6 over 4. Cross multiply and I get 6A is equal to 36. Divide by 6, so A equals 6. All right, last problem. So this goes back to that last theorem on the front, these two do, where I cut this angle in half. That sets up a proportion where this over this equals this over this. So X over 9 would equal 8 over 12. Cross multiply, I get 12X equals 72. Divide by 12, divide by 12. 72 divided by 12 is 6, so X equals 6. Go ahead and pause me and see if you can do 16, 17, and 18 on your own. Unpause me when you're done. Same thing here. This is an angle bisector, so this over this equals this over this. So 5 over x equals 3 over 6. Cross multiply and I get 30 equals 3x. So x equals 10. Divide by 3 on both sides. All right, next one. These are parallel because if this is 60, this is 120, which would make this 60 because a line, those two make a line, which is 180 degrees. And then this angle up here is congruent to itself, so that's by angle similarity, they are congruent, or similar, sorry. So that means that I can set up the proportion of 10 over x equals 12 over 4. Piece over piece equals piece over piece. Cross multiply and 40 equals 12x. So 40 divided by 12 will give me 3 1/3, or 3.3 repeating. Last one, they are parallel because all those angles are congruent to one another. So this over this equals this over this. 3 over x equals 3.5 over 9. Cross multiply 3.5x equals 27. Divide by 3.5 on both sides. And that's a horrible number. Let me make sure I set that up right. 3 over x equals 3.5 over 9, yep. So x equals 27 over 3.5, which is rounded to the nearest hundredth. So 2 decimals would be 7.71. Okay. So what you have now is you have a Schoology assignment 6.6. Then after 6.6, you have an Algebra Unit 6 review. After the Algebra Unit 6 review, I want you to complete the test review that is in your packet. So what that looks like. It is the last pages of your supplemental packet. If I can find it. There it is. Okay, it says Chapter 6 test. So it is this page, this page, this page, and this page. Now, when you're done with that, you are just going to check your answers in Schoology. I have the test review answer key uploaded in Schoology, so you just need to check your answers and make sure you are prepared for the test. The test will be on Wednesday, March 10th. It'll be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for you to take. You need to make sure that you take it that day. No homework will be accepted after 8 p.m. on that Wednesday. So from Unit 6. So no homework is accepted at this point for any unit other than 6. And anything in Unit 6, so 6-1 and on, I will not accept past Wednesday, March 10th at 8 p.m. So you need to make sure that you get all of that in. Okay? Do not take the test on Wednesday until you have finished all the work for the week. You're not going to know the concepts well enough or do very well on the test if you haven't done the homework or the video notes or anything. So make sure you've done all that prior to taking the test. Question and answer sessions, again, always Tuesdays and Fridays from 10:30 to 11, so jump on those. Meet.google.com and use geometry help as the keyword. All right, thanks guys.